Good evening. We'll call to order today the Monday, February 27th meeting of the Corte Madera Parks and Recreation Commission. If we could stand and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Rebecca, do you mind doing roll call for us, please?
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Elson,
Here.
Commissioner Koenig,
Here.
Commissioner Phipps. Maybe joining us. Commissioner Rose,
Here.
Commissioner Blumling,
Here.
Vice Chair Charlie,
Here.
and Chair Miles is absent.
All right, so before we start with the items on our agenda, we'll start with any open time for public comment on items that are not on the agenda. And so members of the public are given 3 minutes apiece. They can either raise their hand or type in an email to public comments at tcmmail.org. And so I'll give a second, and then Rebecca, you can let us know if you see anybody raise their
I
hands.
do not currently see any raised hands, and in refreshing the emailed public comment, we did not receive any emailed public comment. Thank you.
Super. So then if there are no other comments, we'll close the public comment at that time and move on to, pardon me, I don't know if there are any presentations today. Yeah. Great.
Hey everyone,
Hi.
my name is Rachel. I am a local artist and I am making a presentation about doing a potential mural in the Wernham Drive underpass. So it's called the Sky Whale. Here's the concept sketch of the idea. So I've been driving through this underpass for a number of years on my way to get on the freeway and to go to Trader Joe's. And I've been looking at this blank wall and just thinking, why isn't there something beautiful on that, especially in times of heavy traffic when you're stuck there and there's nothing to look at and there's this boring wall. And I travel all over the country doing murals in public and private spaces and have a lot of experience. And my idea is actually to crowdfund this. So I'm not asking the city for money for it. I have an idea that there would be enough enthusiasm in the community to support it by small donations from local businesses, and maybe some sponsorship of materials and supplies. So that's the idea. Okay, you're going to do next. Okay. So I've roughly measured the length of the wall. It's about 100 feet. So the first idea I had that ended up sticking is to do basically a life-size blue whale, because they're such large and magnificent creatures. And I thought how cool it would be to have every animal featured be life-sized. And it's a safe routes to school path. So I thought it would be a cool educational opportunity to put a little, either a plaque or to write on it, to have some notes for people to say, like, this is the actual size of a whale. And look, this is, the wingspan of these white pelicans that you see out on the bay there. So trying to see what else I've got. Yeah, I guess next slide. So it will be basically me doing it. I may call a couple local friends to help out with the painting. I would prime the wall first, paint it with high quality exterior paint, and then there'd be an anti-graffiti coating added that has been used. Actually, I know it was just used locally in San Rafael, and also I believe on the new mural that's just been done in Marin City. So it has a pretty good track record. I know several people who've used this product. And Fred and Rebecca have been helping me with this process. I just walked in off the street one day with a proposal. It's not like someone was looking for a mural. So, yeah, Fred's been really helpful in just helping me figure out how to get the ball rolling and who to talk to and stuff. That's me on top of a scissor lift working in Fisherman's Wharf. On the left is a large mural that I completed over the summer in Scotts Valley at a shopping center. And on the right is a close-up of another mural in a public space in San Francisco. And I have a whole bunch of other examples if anyone wants to see anything. Helping to do this, I have several things happening over the spring. I'm hoping for maybe early summer, maybe June. And I'm hoping to get some fundraising happening in the time between approval from the town and actual starting to paint. I have provisional approval from Caltrans, which is a really big deal. So it looked like that was going to be the really hard part to get through. And I had been in email conversation with David Eng at Caltrans, and it was at first said that that wall wasn't available to be painted because it was load bearing and all this stuff. And finally he said, actually just send me your image. And I emailed it to him, and within hours, he said, you have provisional approval from Caltrans. They liked the design. They thought it was light and bright enough that they could see any cracks in the structure and stuff. So that part's good. I just need the town to kind of stamp it and send off a pile of paperwork that Rebecca's very well aware of. Yeah, and I would work with the city to ensure the process is safe. And I think I already covered the graffiti coating. Yeah, I think that's all there. So I'm looking for support from the Parks and Rec Commission and from you as individuals within your communities. As I get closer to the kind of crowdsourcing piece, I'll be, creating a Facebook campaign and stuff like that. So just trying to get $1, $5, that kind of thing happening. So if, anyone who would like to see something beautiful in place of a boring gray wall, they can come my way. I guess next slide. So I need to show that the community supports this project. There's a town council vote that will happen. And then there's the official Caltrans approval that needs to happen. And then there's fundraising for the cost of the supplies and my time. And then I've got one more slide to open for any questions.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Are there any questions from commissioners before we open it up for public comment?
One question in terms of the estimated funding or cost that's associated with the project, just in terms of what we'd be asking the community to contribute.
It's roughly, I'm going to about 40,000. So that includes it's a significant amount of paint, primer, and then supplies and tape and all that kinds of stuff. So
Absolutely.
I'm hoping to get some of that through sponsorship of like TAM Paints or Sherwin-Williams. So some of that cost might be offset that way. But it's a significant amount of time. So I sort of have a rate that I do per square foot, and then that's within a range. So this is on the lower range of sort of the nonprofit zone per square footage, because it's quite a large wall. So it'd be a significant amount of time.
And then one other question, in terms of I guess the placement, is the design for the whale's head to be facing towards the water? I'm just curious of what the juxtaposition is.
Yeah, that was kind of my idea, was so as you're heading towards the water, or towards Trader Joe's, I guess you can think of it too. So it's kind of going with traffic on that main wall. The flow just kind of felt better. And the birds featured are the white pelicans that tend to flock in that area. And then also some egrets.
I love this idea. I totally support this, and we'll, tell the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful thing that you're doing this just to bring something to your community as a gift. And I really appreciate it. And I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
I also think nice job. And I had a list of questions, and then when you got to the other, I was like, and check. So well done. Follow up though on maintenance. I saw that you said you're local and you're available for sort of maintenance and whatnot. Do you envision having sort of an extra fund from the crowdsourcing to support that maintenance? Like, I don't know how frequent maintenance is. Like, I just don't know anything about that type of stuff.
My honest answer is I haven't fully thought that through. Typically, you can get 5 to 15 years of a pretty stable image before things start to be kind of chipped or damaged or whatever. The graffiti coating should work quite well as far as tagging. I don't know. I imagine just kind of the exhaust and stuff will cause it to need cleaning at some point, which I don't think would be a significant cost. I'd be happy to just get a couple rags and a bucket and come down and take care of it because I care about it, so I wouldn't want to see it looking bad. But yeah, that's probably a good idea to set aside a kind of care fund. And I'll kind of consider that. Talk to a couple friends who've done similar projects.
Great.
I guess I should come, Mike. I have other information to share from the perspective of the town. Our public works director is aware of this proposal, and we did have, as you can see, there's a safe routes to school path that runs under the underpass that goes in front of that, and it is slated for a project to upgrade that pathway. And we had thought the timing would work out so the pathway would be completed and then the mural could go up over the summer, but now the pathway has been delayed probably till the next summer. But our director doesn't have concerns over the ability to keep the mural safe. It would be, they could put up a protective screening or barrier while they did that project. But the important thing is that the two projects would not be going on simultaneously. We'd be able to do one and then the other, but we would protect the integrity of the artwork with hopefully minimal touch-ups required after that project is finished. And as Rachel said, she had been working extensively with Caltrans for nearly a year before you came to town. Originally, it's an interesting intersection in that it's sort of a three corners where it's county unincorporated and town and city of Larkspur. And there were questions over the ownership of that wall space. And originally the town was told it was Caltrans, and Caltrans was working with Rachel on this. And then other maps and research showed it is actually the town's, and that's why the town is required to sign off on this, and why she has to demonstrate community outreach. And she may have other details to provide on other outreach she's done with other community groups and the next steps for outreach. But the town, as the owner of that space, does have to adopt a resolution supporting the project.
So Rachel, other than the other wall being jealous, have you heard of any pushback or anything? I mean, are there concerns that are sometimes come to light with communities that you've done this with?
No, I mean, yeah, I do wonder about that other wall. Maybe there could be a phase 2. I have some ideas that could kind of talk to it. No, I mean, the only, the thing that comes up sometimes is, could children somehow be involved or something, which, I completely understand. Frankly, the position of it, I'm a mom and I would not feel like it was a good idea trying to manage kids at that location with traffic. So it's not an ideal kind of setting to do a mural that involves children. And I would love to do that at other locations. That would be more kind of community involvement. So that's really the only thing that, sometimes people go, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if the school children, if it could somehow, be more involved with the community in that way. No, I've actually just been kind of like showing it to people, and almost everyone I've shown it to has been really enthusiastic, just saying it's a beautiful image and it'd be nice to look at, and it reminds them of nature, but it's not kind of predictable. It's not like a blue under the sea scene with octopus and, so it's kind of fun and different. And Yeah.
Looks beautiful to me. Any other comments or questions from us? Then I'm wondering if you could please look and see if there's any public comments. Do you see any hands raised or get an email or anything?
We did not receive any emailed public comments. And I am not seeing any raised hands from online attendees.
All right. I think unless there's any other further discussion or anything on our end.
No further discussion, but would, I think what the staff would be looking for would be if you would recommend we bring this forward to council for final approval, and that resolution that we discussed.
Sure, then want to hear it. Do we need a motion or just a resolution? Then
No, it would be a business item, but general direction to staff is what we're looking for.
then as long as anybody on Zoom want to chime in or anything, you guys in agreement?
I'm very supportive.
Absolutely. Love it.
Great. I'm hearing full support.
Yay, thank
So I guess that sounds like direction to staff.
That is direction. And Rachel staff will be in touch about what the next step is and when we can schedule you
Thank
to
you.
present before council.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, like we get next up. All right, next up, we've got the preview of Camp Corte Madera by Tim Berry.
Thank you. Good evening. I know it doesn't feel like the weather right now is summer, but it is right around the corner. A little preview of summer 2023. We plan so far and what are the kind of camps we have besides our Camp Corte Madera and our specialty camps. These are pictures from last year. So Camp Corte Madera, our main goal has always been to plan a fun and safe summer for our community. Our camp operates to create fun and positive experiences for every camper in our program. Camp Corte Madera offers a variety of activities, including indoor, outdoor games, sports, arts and crafts, cooking, field trips back this year, unique theme weeks, and volunteer opportunities. Basically, we're looking for those kids to have a memorable summer with us while they're out of school and having a good time. Next slide, please. So our camp runs from June 19th to August 11th. That is 1 week of training after school gets out, and then camp running until August 11th. For this year in 2023, we are offering a day at a time off. That was a big request when parents say, hey, I only need 1 day or I only need 2 days. Can I do 1 day or 2 days instead of the whole week? So we added that this year. Camp is again to be for 5 to 12-year-olds. Full day option is 9 to 5 with the price of $60 a day. Summer school care, which is when summer school gets out, 11:30 to 5 for $50 a day. And a half day option from 12 to 5 for $42 a day. The half day option is really for kids coming out of our other contract camps that are happening in the morning for that afternoon care, so they can have kind of a full day experience for those kids and those parents. We are going to be on Neil Cummins campus, and then we're going to bring back field trips and theme days. Next slide, please. So these are all the trips we have planned so far this summer. We are planning 5 field trips to pretty much local places. I think the farthest we're going is maybe Santa Rosa. So we're going bowling 1 week, we're going to Cal Skate another week, Scandia mini golf, Rebounders and Epicenter, all places that my staff have taken campers before and the kind of a common places summer campers take. We decided to stay kind of local. Some camps may travel to a Giants game or Six Flags kind of far. So our first trip kind of diving back into summer camp and field trips, we're kind of staying local just to make sure that we're doing it right before we take those big steps. There is an additional fee of $40 per field trip on top of the camp day fee. And then we are going to ask parents that if you please at least have enrolled in 1 week of camp, so we know who your kid is when they come to the field trip. So we know, hey, you're so-and-so. We'll give you a camp t-shirt so you're identifiable. So when we go on the trips, we know who you are instead of just some random extra person coming on field trips. Next slide is, again, we are partnering with Larkspur Corte Madera School District. They are doing a 3-week summer camp this year instead of 4. They had some funding challenges and went down to 3 weeks, half day from 11:30 to 5. They are estimating about 40 targeted K-5 students who really are those targeted low-income students who need that extended care. We have heard time and time again, without the program, they would not come to the morning care. and the afternoon care is essential for those kids to be a main part. We have met earlier than last year, which is great. And the district has been a great partner in sending all the mailing and flyers and permission slips home early so they can get them all in both English and Spanish, so they get it filled out. We're ready for the first day. So there's no kind of scrambling last minute. And then I'll be going back to town council in April for the formal request for them for funding, like they did last year, to fund those kids to go for those 3 weeks for summer camp. And then scholarships, obviously, we've done a lot of work on getting our scholarship program established, and it has been very successful at getting requests probably weekly, which is great to see for our current class. And I assume once our guide hits in April, we will get those same requests. We'll publicize them again in our department guide. It's in the school menus. It'll be on the department website as it is, and through MailChimp to get it out there for people who are in need of scholarships. And then again, I'll be asking for the groups, the Corte Madera Women's Foundation, Lions Club, Community Foundation, and Beautification Commission for donations for funding for those clubs like we've always done. I think this year with a more formal program and some great literature and documentation, it's much easier for them to understand that, hey, it's a legitimate scholarship program. They can clearly see where this is going. And I always keep in the loop of, hey, you were able to fund 3 students to come all summer or 2 students to come half the summer. They very much appreciate who's coming and who's using their funding for camps. And then staff recruitment. It is always a challenge to find staff. So anybody who wants to work, we are always looking. We have some quality core staff from last summer. We have some staff who are working our current childcare program, but always looking for more. We understand people have busy, active summers and want to take a vacation. So our job is posted. It is posted at the schools. And it's a lot word of mouth getting out of people who want to work and have an experience and give back to the community. So always working for staff. And then our biggest source a lot of time are CITs who have been to the program, who have that vested interest, who want to come back and want to be part of the program, which is the best because they reflect on the experience they had in camp and they relate to the kids, and that's makes it most fun for everybody. And then CITs, we probably hired 4 CITs from this past summer who in our childcare program who had gained, firsthand experience. They were essential in our programs. And then again, asking them for this summer to say, hey, here's an opportunity to gain some work experience, to put some stuff on your college app, to use some of those volunteer hours. And we really want them to be committed to the program. We want them to at least work 4 weeks, not a week here and then not work all summer. We really want to get to know them. We want the kids to get to know them. We want them to be a part of the program. So we're kind of asking, we really want you to be at least 4 weeks. We're flexible and we'll schedule when we need or when they need, because we understand there's busy schedules. But really targeting those 13, 14, 15-year-olds who want to take an experience in, get into the workforce eventually, and who like playing with kids for summer and having a good time. And then my last slide is a list of specialty camps. I know Ashley's going to talk about in a second our summer camp menus, but the wide variety of camps we offer, from kindergarten readiness to art readiness, mass youth, to tennis, to Pokemon engineering, Lego. So we have a wide range of camps that are offered both in the morning and in the afternoon, all summer long on the campus of Cummins and on the Cove for kids to do stuff this summer. So looking excited into next summer. Like I said, I'm really excited to have a core of my staff back. Both my camp directors are back this summer and are excited and have really taken ownership of planning and getting ready for summer, and they're very excited, so as I am. Any questions for me?
That's great. Any questions?
Is enrollment already, is the registration open?
March 1st. March 1st.
What is a typical day, like a non-field trip day, look like at camp?
So a typical day is usually the first half hour is some type of indoor game, because people come at all times. Even though we may start at 9, people filter in much later. There's usually an activity inside, outside, an art project to let the kids kind of choose. Like, hey, we're going to go play this game out on the blacktop. We're going to have this art project going on, or this food project. What do you want to do? So they kind of get some choices, and then they can flip halfway through. There'll be a second other same thing, 3 different activities planned, either maybe a game in the gym or something on the field or something inside, and then lunch. And then they'll take a trip to the playground usually, and then the same model for the afternoon, 3 different activities the kids can choose from, whatever they want. And then staff will rotate and plan depending on how many kids you have in camp or what the theme activity is. And then I always say it's much easier to program when you have a lot of kids, because there's a lot of activities and like to do. And we like to split them up because some kids don't want to play the games or don't want to do that. So we let them kind of choose and rotate through. And then most of them usually kind of rotate and kind of choose different things, but at least it gives them the option of different activities to choose when the day camp goes on.
Any other questions from the commission? Rebecca, I don't know if you saw if there's any public comment.
I do not currently see any raised hands, and you did not receive any emailed public comment on this item.
Right, thanks. Then, Tim, other than our gratitude, anything else we need to do for you?
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. All right, I believe next up we've got introduction of summer menu of contract camps and classes.
I'm going to be taking the lead on this one because we were hoping that recreation coordinator Erin Duggan was going to be coming over, but she would be multitasking because she is leading the basketball program for the adults with developmental disabilities over at Hall. So she still might slip in, and if so, then I'll turn it over to her. She, with our designer, have developed this printout that you have. And it's got all the contract camps this summer, as well as our in-house Camp Corte Madera. And it's done by week. So we thought that was a really helpful way for parents to look through it and say, I'm just need coverage for this week. Let's look at just that week. And it's got all the options between full day, morning specialty camps, afternoon specialty camps. And this has been taken to the schools today. So it should be coming home in backpacks from Neil Cummins and from Cove this week. So if parents want to look for that. We also have additional copies at the community center and at town hall. And just to kind of go through it, I know that Tim gave an overview of some of the camps that we have available. National Academy of Athletics is back. They do a number of different camps, as well as carpentry camp. So if anybody's looking for some of those hot items that fill up, March 1st is the registration opening, and carpentry does usually fill up with waitlists if you want to jump on that one. Art camp with Liza Matthews from Neil Cummins, that is always popular as well. So is skateboarding with Jeremy. We have the kinder readiness camp. So if anybody's got incoming kindergartners at Cove and Neil Cummins, that's only offered the week of June 12th. Amazing Science is back, as well as some of our Lego engineering classes with Playwell. And then we have some Spanish language classes. Essentially, we hope to fit all of the special needs, but then also, again, illustrating that we have the full day traditional day camp, and then the option to do half days with that. So if you have a child that's really interested in doing carpentry, but also you need to have coverage for a half day, then we have that option as available for you as well. Really basic. Do you have any questions?
I think I love this layout.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
All the credit to Erin and Stacy, who's been doing our design work. And it's available online on our website as well, and in the town newsletter.
Super. Any other questions or comments from the commission before we open it up for public comment?
I think it's great that so many of these established partners are from after school career programs are coming into summer, because families already feel comfortable. You obviously as as the department know them, they're vetted, but there's so much chatter about some of the after school stuff that this gives a real opportunity for people to get more involved. So it's great.
Yes. Rebecca, I don't know if you've, can you check please and see if we've received any public comment?
We did not receive any emailed public comment, and I am not seeing any raised hands from online attendees.
All right, then Ashley, other than sending our gratitude to Erin, anything else you need from us?
Nope.
All right, thanks. Then I think we are moving on to the consent calendar. So these are items that are routine and have been discussed previously and or do not require further discussion. Any member of the commission, the town staff, or public may request removal from the consent calendar of an item for further discussion. So I'll start by asking if anyone from the commission would like to pull something from the consent calendar. And Rebecca's anything from the public?
I am not seeing any raised hands, and we did not receive any emailed public comment on the consent calendar items.
Right. Then I'll need a little guidance here as I'm a newbie. Do I need to do anything else on the consent calendar? There's nothing else? Or do we move? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Need to make a motion then?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 23rd meeting.
Super.
Second.
Motion.
Right,
Okay, first by Commissioner Elson and second by Commissioner Koenig.
great. And then if we can get a roll call?
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Elson,
Yes.
Commissioner Koenig,
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps,
I was not present.
Commissioner Rose,
Yes.
Commissioner Blumling,
Not present.
Okay.
Vice Chair Charlie,
Abstain.
and if Chair Miles is absent. Oh, I think we have to carry these forward to the next agenda then if we don't have a quorum to accept the minutes.
Have Commissioner Phipps and Blumling recorded it or reviewed it against the recording by chance?
No, I did not.
Too focused on the other ones.
No problem, just asking.
All right, so we'll carry that over. I think that brings us to the business items. There are none. So then we're speeding right through to staff update and commissioner reports.
All right, just a quick one. Just an update on our active older adult programs for our traditional seniors. So that is by Coordinator Perry. We have the ongoing programs. I think we're up to about 11 per week. So it ranges from bridge to the senior lunch to some introduction to bridge. And then we also have bingo. And there's the number of ongoing groups that are meeting in the community center, and supporting that is the Lions meetings, the Women's Club, and the Women's Club has a variety of different meetings that they have throughout the week as well, between their knitting group and their own bridge classes, and then their general meeting and speaker series. Moving into the Children's Center, they just finished the midwinter break, as most of you are aware, and they were open and providing service on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Low attendance because I think we're getting a pulse that most people are out of town this whole last week. But they've been working, both Alex and Alex have been working on the summer program. After school enrichment classes, they have all been kicked off. None of them were meeting last week because most people were gone and school was out. And then Erin has been focusing on producing the menu for the summer camps, and then she'll be quickly producing the menu for the fall season. Adults with disabilities and Rec Inc. That is where Erin is right now. That's Monday basketball. They're doing their traditional Monday basketball program. They've got a sports night. They've got the third Friday dances. And then I believe 2 weeks ago, they had their dinner at Celia's. So a very active group. Erin's constantly connecting with some of the service providers and working out transportation. Transportation is the biggest challenge so far with that group. Just kind of getting things back to pre-COVID flow. Activities and events. The main one to come up is our collaboration with Larkspur. And so we have the Twin Cities Egg Hunt on Friday, the April 7th is going to be the flashlight egg hunt over at Piper Parks for our older kids. And then the traditional morning egg hunt at Town Park on the following Saturday. So Saturday the 8th. And we hope that everyone comes out and attends. We're going to be building on the program that was done last year as far as in Town Park, different zones for different age groups. And we'll refine the starting area and streamline that so it makes it a little bit easier. It is a quick hunt, both of them. But we also will have e-bunny available for photos inside the community center. So if you're looking for your photo ops, they do an amazing little backdrop and the bunny comes and visits us for a little bit. So it's really nice. And our bunny is extra good with any children that are shy. There's lots of little stuffed animals around. It makes them very comfortable in that setting. Town Park restroom project progress. We staff have been meeting with a pro bono architect as well as public restroom company to revise some of the exterior aesthetics, and that will be presented most likely at the Planning Commission meeting on the 28th of March. We were originally aiming for the 14th, but it'll be the 28th most likely. And after we refine the design and the aesthetics, we'll be making a large poster to put in the park at the location so people can again see what it looks like, where it's going to be, and hopefully we have another opportunity to collect some ongoing community engagement and feedback. And then following that, should the planning commission approve it and recommend it to council, then it'll go to council for approval and funding, official funding, and then we can start procuring the facility. Right now, there is about a 10 to 12 month lead with the public restroom company. So I'm not sure that we'll be able to get it in this calendar year, but it might be early next calendar year. In preparation for that, we'll probably refine and reapply for the per capita grant just to be safe and give us wiggle room. And they actually approached us with, in case you're coming up to a deadline, let's just reapply. Very easy. No chance of losing the funding, but just getting into the next cycle. And then the master plan progress, staff is meeting with the consultants. That's from MAC 5 and from RHAA Landscape Architects. And right now they are refining their deficiencies list for the internal buildings as well as the park facilities. And from that deficiencies list, so looking at different areas, for example, in the community center, ADA accessibility or electrical, they've kind of all broken it down. And then creating a matrix to be able to evaluate the needs based on the community engagement that's done since the survey, with the community engagement, and then things that we've heard since then, and trying to help us develop a draft priorities list. And all of that will come to the commission first to review before being recommended to town council for consideration and potential funding. So that's the timeline on that. And I don't have an estimated date, but hopefully by March 27th, we'll be able to have some kind of presentation, even if it's just a progress report.
Super.
That's it.
Thank you. Any questions? Anything else? Nope.
Talking about restrooms, is there any information on the porta potties and the fire? Do they have any leads as to who potentially did that?
As of right now, I'm not aware of any leads on the destruction of the porta potties adjacent to the proposed site for the town park restroom project. That's at the end of the Eastman parking lot behind the community center. But it is a part of sort of an uptick in tagging in the area. So the CMPA is working to kind of create a way to monitor, and we're hoping for community feedback. So if anybody sees any tagging happening, if they could report it, that would be really helpful for law enforcement.
I can't quite remember the number and the rankings of sort of bathroom preferences, but does that change anything at all? I mean, was that specific area targeted because of anything we think about that shifts the analysis we were internally doing here? Like, I don't know if that does, but
I think right now, I think your recommendations to the planning commission, I think, are very solid, and we can leave it to the planning commission to add any additional recommendations in light of this information, as well as town council's feedback.
okay, thanks.
Yeah, I don't know that it would change. I mean, the tagging is happening all over the school, all over the park. I don't think any one area is being targeted.
Very little actually in town park, mostly outside of it.
Okay. Then I think we've got an update from the recent town council meeting.
The exciting part.
That's right.
Sorry. There we go. Okay. All right. So going back to the 7th, there was a couple of public comments. The only one I think that's really pertinent for us was somebody was concerned about artificial turf versus natural grass, health concerns, about injuries, falling over, pellets, all that, pesticides and other concerns there. And they were very strongly in favor of having natural grass. Going down to the consent calendar, there was a creation of community development department. Yeah, specialist over here, but this was his whole thing. They were talking about removing all provisions, director provisions, and then a greater movement away from the planning. There was an audit report, which I skipped, an approval role, town council liaison to town advisory bodies. And this was most of the conversation. And so they talked about Parks and Rec as well as some of the other bodies, and just a way to communicate between the legislative body and the council. And there was a discussion about the role in terms of advising and not really influencing, and a couple of examples from other communities, and then also citizen engagement on that part. And then go into the 21st, a lot of talk about DEI and the work program areas, and then categorizing issues. And there was other concerns were electric vehicles in terms of having charging stations, climate action work plan, emergency events, the Parks and Rec scholarships, which I think we briefly touched on earlier, and then finally housing for renting, I believe. So yeah, those are the 2 meetings.
Thanks. Any questions, anyone? Right, blazing through. Executive Advisory Committee. I think we've got nothing on that one. I can officially confirm that I'm not getting emails and I still haven't fixed it. So there might have been something great going on, and I'll apologize to everyone that I was not a part of it. So, all right. And then any individual commissioner updates, anything you guys want to share with the rest of us? Oh my gosh, you guys want to get out of here. Is it me? Okay, then number 7, routine and other matters. So sounds like, before we close, are there any other topics that the commissioners would like to put on the agenda for future meetings? Nope. And, we've been doing these ad hoc committee assignments in order to make sure that we're sort of moving things along. I don't know if there's anything you want to not it or pass it on to someone else. Commissioner Brown or Rose, anybody? Nope. All right. Well then,
Thank you, Vice Chair Charlie. I just noticed that there was a raised hand, and I'm not sure if it was raised during the reports, and I should have checked on public comment, but is it okay if I call on Patty Stolier?
oh, please do.
We can open public comment.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Patty. You should be able to unmute yourself. I'm sorry that I didn't see you earlier.
You are forgiven. I just wanted to know, since it's going to be a year or 2 until the bathroom's done, can we get one of those fancy trailers that has the indoor bathrooms like they have at rock concerts and stuff, to sit out there in that spot and be better than a porta potty?
I don't feel qualified to answer that, except for to say I do also like those rock star porta potties, but I don't know if I could maybe get some help from you, Ashley, on that
I'll
one.
make one comment that was discussed during the community engagement of the master plan process that was in January, the 2 back-to-back Zoom meetings, and the community voiced their opinion to save money on upgrading any of the public restrooms, the temporary ones, to save money to put that into the permanent facilities.
That makes sense. They're lovely, but they are expensive, I imagine.
But do people know that it's going to be a couple of years until we have the bathroom?
I think hopefully we're keeping up to date.
I
on the
remember
timeline. I
that
think we're doing a
discussion,
fairly
and I'm
decent job
probably
of
the
that,
one that
but
brought up those fancy bathrooms. Thank you.
thank you. All right.
And no additional raised hands.
All right. I think Commissioner Brown, I think it's on deck for next town council meeting. And then if there's nothing else and I haven't botched running the meeting, then I think we can close. Is that right? I'm looking for confirmation from the experts in this corner. All righty, great. Well, then I'm going to hit the gavel. All right.
Thank you.